I'm Boston 2%, author of Fire and Ice, the Meth Bible, and I'm chatting with Staxx.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Boston 2%.
At the time, when you're under the spell of the man, you feel like you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. Plus, you feel so terrible. The mission is to die anyway. So, I mean, it's like your inhibitions are completely gone. I mean, imagine using off the floor and sleeping with strangers all day. I mean, really, what kind of headspace would a human being have to be in? Now, these are people that you know from the game and stuff. All these women, like my trap house, girls would just knock on the door and say, hey, I'm here to party. And it's like, I've never met them before. Come on in. That's the lifestyle. And this book tells, it's really a portrait, an accurate portrayal of hell. And most Christian people lie about their testimony. They cover up the ugly parts. And when I was writing it, God told me, He spoke internally to me. I want you to write it exactly the way it looks. The 50 cents on the dollar food stamps, the orgies in the bedrooms, everything, all how it works, everything. I want you to give an accurate portrayal of hell, because how are people ever going to know the true miracles of God if they never see the darkness from which he really saved us from? So it's very graphic. It's a book about and the devil. It's a book about sex addiction, pornography addiction, about using. It's very descriptive. You can smell the smells of the trap houses. You can feel the going into your arm. You can feel the menthol bursting out of your mouth. I mean, you can experience what it's like to be a meth addict in that book without ever touching the drug. And a lot of people who've been out of addiction, they have to take breaks because it gets too intense, So I wrote it in that manner because that's the stuff God really delivers us from, okay? Those are the real miracles of God once you come out the other side. So I just continue down the spiral. Now I'm basically starting to go insane. Do you know what deep psychosis is? Have you ever heard that term?
No.
It's a medical term. You start getting spun out from the excessive. I took it to a level that no human being should. At one time, for a long time, I was an 8-ball a day user, 3.5 grams a day. That would keep a normal person up for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Okay. And I was doing that every day. Now I'd spread it around a little bit, girls, stuff like that. But I mean, I was keeping the lion's share for me, right? You're not sleeping for 5 days on average at a time. You're not drinking water. You're not eating. You're fasting for the devil like Christians fast for the Lord. But it's in reverse, you see.
Are you losing weight at this time?
I'm drinking so much Pepsi. I was probably the fattest addict you've ever seen. But I was still like, I wasn't in bad shape. But I mean, I should have been rail thin. I mean, I wouldn't eat for 5 days, a lot, like frequently. But I'm drinking the Pepsi. I'm smoking a pack and a half of cigarettes a day, stuff like that, right? So I'm living an unhealthy life. But I mean, I'd be driving the taxi sometimes, and my back would feel like somebody hit me with an aluminum baseball bat. And in Texas, they got 64-ounce drinks. I don't recommend those to anybody. Like go in and get you a 64-ounce Coke. But I put Gatorade in it and I drank it. And then I realized, I'm like, oh my God. I'm so dehydrated that my back hurts. That's my kidneys that's hurting because it has no fluid. As soon as I drank it, about 15 minutes later, I felt great. But it's like you're so lost in the addiction, in this being spun out so far into the atmosphere, you don't realize these things. You are dying from the lifestyle, right? Yeah. So deep methamphetamine psychosis is when you go into a complete alternate universe. So I got it in my head, like, all these girls were showing up to the house, like a lot more than normal. They were better looking than normal. When I was running out of dope, they would show up and have dope. Now, I got a free place to stay in a car. Like, I'm not putting that together. So I get this delusion in my mind from the psychosis that these women are being sent. I'm good looking, Bill, but I'm not that good looking. Somebody's sending these girls to my house, right? Because if you make enemies in the meth game, people play mind games on you. Like, it's super twisted. It's a thing called gang stalking. It's in the book too.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I heard of that.
you heard of gang stalking? So
Yeah.
gang stalking was a thing. I wrote this in 2020 and I put it in there because I've seen it with my own eyes. You cross the wrong person, they'll torture you to try to get you to unalive yourself. It's wild. They'll just pay somebody to go to your house and find out all this stuff. It's wild. So I thought that's what was happening to me, right? Then I start thinking that there's hidden cameras everywhere. Now today, those little cameras you could buy for $20. This was a different world then, right?
Yeah.
But I thought that people knew things about me that they shouldn't. I started getting super paranoid. But then I start to believe. This is where the delusion gets so insane. It's in a chapter in the book called Movie Magic, okay? I started to believe that I was handpicked and selected out of the ICE game to be part of this hidden camera movie, like a reality reboot of the movie The Truman Show with Jim Carrey, right? I started thinking Jim Carrey's an executive producer on this flick. And I think I'm going to be the richest stand-up comic in the United States, the biggest film star when this movie wraps, right? This is hard to even explain, but it's like I started doing stand-up comedy in the middle of Walmart on the counter. I was getting thrown out of every fast food joint in Southside Corpus Christi. Like I'd be like causing scenes because I think I'm acting out these scenes. I'm being a real dick to everybody. But I'm like, hey, if we're gonna shoot a movie, let's shoot a movie.
But right? You really believe this in your mind, like you think this is real.
You couldn't tell me. And my dad was still alive at the time. He was stricken with spinal cancer, stage 4 spinal cancer during this time. I was in my bedroom. I'd stayed up all night. He walks by me after he comes home from his job as an accountant, and he walks by me and he's like, he goes, Patrick, I don't feel so good. Now, for about 2 weeks, I was rubbing icy hot on his back because he thought he pulled a muscle. And he walks by me, and I'm like, all right, Dad. And I stayed up all night, and I heard him scream, and I ran into the room. He's like, I can't feel my legs. Overnight, the spinal tumor metastasized and touched his spinal cord, and he couldn't feel his legs. He was paralyzed overnight. I'm a full-blown junkie. This guy's my best friend. He's my dad. We've been playing golf together since I was 12 years old. All of a sudden, like, we're in this dilapidated trap house with these 2 dying dogs. All the carpeting's ripped out from all the domestic disputes. There's holes punched in the wall. I mean, it's just a scene out of a horror movie. Piss all over the floor.
There's no food, right?
He's got food in the fridge. But, it was like all the people would eat most of his stuff. So it was like, yeah, it was just a really bad time, man. And I became a caretaker for a dying man. While I was a dying man, I remember looking at my dad one day and I was like, Dad, we're both dying after the diagnosis and everything. He's like, you know what, Patrick? He's like, but you have a choice.
Is he in a wheelchair? Do they put him in a wheelchair?
We didn't even have a wheelchair or nothing at the time. So I'm hoisting this 200-pound man into the shower with my swim trunks on, and I'm bathing him. I'm shaving him. I'm doing all like his face, and I'm like wiping his butt. Then I'm changing his diapers. I'm choking back tears, and I'm like, it's going to be all right, Dad. We're going to fight through this. We're going to fight through this. And then I would run into the bedroom, and I would just let it all out, and then I would have to get. Now I'm staying up 24/7. I'm in psychosis, but he would try to talk me out of this delusion, but you could not tell me that this movie, this evil Hollywood machine that's torturing me, that was waging war on me, wasn't real. So, I mean, all of a sudden, like, my dad disappears during all this, okay? He's just gone one day. I went out somewhere and came home the next day, and he's gone. Now, I'm so far in, I decide that he's now faking cancer. This is all part of the movie script. He's really playing golf in Hawaii. Like, they had him on some diet where he lost weight rapidly to get him to 140 pounds. So like Christian Bale in the movie The Machinist, dropping weight for the role. I thought all this, and I was convinced. The house is a house of horrors. I'm smashing TVs through closed windows, punching more holes in the wall. I'm in this like rage. My poor neighbors, man. I mean, they literally lived next to an encampment in hell at the time. There's like a dumpster outside. We were doing a project. It was there for like a year. Trash blowing around. These are people that knew my grandma in real life, by the way. Like, nice people. This isn't the country club estates, Bill. And this is all unfolding, right? I had a nighttime estate sale. I hung up like Halloween lights and like Christmas lights. And I was selling off like my grandpa's piano and, the Queen Anne chairs. And I'm like, relax. This is for the movie. And they're just putting it in a storage unit and we'll get it back at the end of the shoot. I believe this stuff. I had a lemonade stand at 34, 35 years old, rivaling the Fitzpatrick twins down the street. Wow. I'm like screaming at him. I'm like, you little you had to open today to compete with me? Outside, not thinking the police could ever show up because it's all part of the movie. I'd be on the front porch with a blowtorch and a hear ye. The court of the king is now in session. I'd be screaming this at 4:00 in the morning. I'm like, relax, everybody. I'm like, it's all part of the script.
Did the police ever come?
No. And it was like, one time I got out of jail. My dad's in the wheelchair now. He's still working because I'm a total piece of crap, right? And I can't do anything to get clean and get a job or anything. I got out of jail for like a public intox and I came home. He was sitting at his desk in the wheelchair. I went and grabbed a fillet knife and I sat down next to him and I said, I put it to this big vein on my arm. And I said, you're going to tell me about this movie right now, Dad. And you're going to tell me about the whole plot and everything, who's putting you up to this, or I'm going to split this wide open and they won't even be able to get here by the time I'm done. And he just looked at me. It was one of the only times I ever seen my dad cry. And he looked at me and he said, Patrick, there's no movie. He's like, you're really sick.